I see the thing is indicating we are recording, and hopefully it's not going to be displaying that. The date today, of course, is as shown, the 12th of May 1993, and we'll start off by maybe talking about right now. How do you feel right now? You had a pacemaker put in how long ago?
Oh, it's about a year ago now.
And does that seem to be working pretty well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How long were you in the hospital at the time?
Oh,
4 months.
Four and a half months about.
Oh, yeah. And are you getting out with the three-wheel electric cart?
Oh, yeah. Every day, just about.
And you pick up the mail and all of those kind of things?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some of the history long time ago. Now, there was this story that you were telling one time about your dad going to Holly and getting caught in a snowstorm. Why don't you tell about that?
Yeah, well, we got the story, somebody wrote the story up. Well, he went to Holly to grind flour.
Uh-huh.
And the neighbor went with him, and they took along some wheat, to the flour mill in Holly. And I suppose they left in the morning, and they got to, they went to, they went one day and come back the next. But they went to Holly and ground, and they ground the flour, and they come back halfway from here.
Where was that located, that halfway point?
Tatley.
Oh, in the Tatley Grove, that area?
Grove.
That's east of or west of Hitterdal?
Yeah.
About 3 miles or so?
That's where they were going to stay overnight, Or, yeah, that's where they...
Because of the snowstorm?
That's what they were heading for.
Oh, yeah.
But the snowstorm come on them before they got
Well,
there.
how did they make it through the snowstorm then without freezing to death?
They got within a quarter of a mile or half a mile from Tatley Grove, but they didn't know where they were at,
Uh-huh.
But they got to a shack, and they figured we can't go any farther. We'll have to go get in there and stay then,
Sure.
And so they horses, they had put their horses on the other side of the shack, so out of the wind,
Sure.
And they went inside and they found some frozen potatoes in the corner of that shack. They didn't know it was potatoes. They thought it was cold.
Uh-huh.
So they thought, well, here's where they must have made fire. So they set fire to that coal, but it wasn't coal, it was frozen potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
So when they found that out, well, that was no sense in that, but then they had fire there and it started to burn in the shed,
Oh, I see.
So they had to get that out, and then
Sure.
they got that fire put out. So then they thought, well, they can just well take the horses in there.
Oh,
so
I see.
They got the horses in the
Shed. Sure.
But then they had to, I don't know how it got a little heat from the horses too, I suppose, and they had big, one of them had a buffalo coat on. They had buffalo coats them days.
Sure.
But my dad, he had a buffalo coat.
Oh, I
so
see.
the other fellow with him,
Who was with him, do you know?
it was Guttorp Knudsen.
Oh, was he
They
some...
lived a mile south of Europe.
I see. Uh-huh.
And he was with him. He
Sure.
also had wheat.
He was a friend of your dad's or something?
Yeah, well, they were settlers, you know.
Sure. Okay. They had this buffalo coat. What is that made out of? Some buffalo hide or something?
Buffalo hide, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty every old timer around here had one. Them days. You know.
Sure.
But this fellow with him didn't have that. He had another
Jacket.
coat,
Oh, I see.
you know.
Sure.
My dad didn't have one either, but somebody loaned him that buffalo coat.
What was the story that I heard once about? There was a dispute about some grain that had been eaten up by some horses or something. Where was that, in Hawley or something?
It was in Hawley.
Wasn't that flour?
Or flour or whatever?
Yeah, that was another time.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Well, he went to Hawley with wheat to ground for flowers once a year, you know.
Uh-huh.
Generally in the fall.
Sure.
And then he went to the first day he went to the mill there, you know, got the
Uh-huh.
wheat in there, but then he'd have to stay overnight there because to wait for his flour, he couldn't get it right away because they were busy. And so he finally got the flour,
Uh-huh.
but he had to wait around. So then he left the mill, and the mill was about a mile or two south of Hawley, you know,
Sure. Uh-huh.
by the river there. That's where the mill was.
Yeah.
But then on the way out, he had to go through a store. It wasn't any Hawley yet either. It was just a store and a post office.
Was that all?
Yeah.
Well,
Just
what
about-
what year would that have been? That would have been before the 1900s, of course.
Yeah.
Back around 1880 or so?
1880 something.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they come here in 1877,
Sure,
so
sure.
it might have been just
Yeah, right.
1880.
Sure.
And so they got to the store, and they tied up the team by some hitching posts there, I guess. And went to the store and got his groceries from the store.
Uh-huh.
And when he got out, then a bunch of cattle was around his wagon and ate up his whole sack of flour.
Sure. Do you know whose cattle there were?
Well, I don't know. I don't.
Seems to me it was a guy by the name of Black or something like that.
Yeah,
or
King.
King. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was a fellow named King, I guess, and he lived around close to the store there.
Yeah, sure.
And he had his cattle there.
Yeah.
And well, it's all in.
But anyway, they settled the dispute,
yeah,
and they shook hands, and they were friends after that anyway.
Yeah.
But they had decided, as I understand, they had sort of a little hearing,
Yeah.
and it was decided that this
Yeah.
king was to
The constable in town, he appointed 3 men
sure.
to decide
Sure.
what to do.
They decided in favor of your dad,
Yeah.
and so King was to give your dad back some flour,
Sure.
and they shook hands and they went on their way.
Yeah.
That's what I read. It was in the Hawley book, I think.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see. Can you think of other stories, something from your past that you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Tell you what, we'll just take a little rest here, and we'll stop it for now, and then we'll continue on here in just a few minutes. Okay, I just thought I would sit down here for a little bit, and we'll both do a little bit of recording. I was going to say this is the 12th of May, which I usually do is give that little deal, which we already know from just ahead of this. But anyway, I have the antibiotics going into me yet. I got a blood infection, which is called Staphylococcus aureus, I guess something like that. But anyway, it's a staph infection in the blood, which I got around the first part of April or that. And so I was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. I came out of the hospital and I was still required to take antibiotics for a period of time, or at least until the 1st of June. And so I'm getting that every 4 hours, and I've got a pump on me that gives me this injection every 4 hours over a period of 30 minutes, and it's called Nafcillin, the antibiotics. Then I have a central line here that goes in and feeds that to me, and of course comes up this line and on in. Anyway, it's a sort of a computerized pump is what I'm carrying. What are have you been in the hospital any in your life? You were in, of course, for the pacemaker, and other than that, I don't remember how much you were in the hospital.
Only for my eyes.
That's right. You had cataract surgery.
Yeah, that was once about 10 years ago and once about 2 years ago.
Sure.
That's the only time I had anything surgery.
And you've got permanent implants on both eyes, don't you?
Yeah.
So you don't have the same situation as Mom does. She had one permanent and then one that she has to put a lens in, or a contact lens every day, or has to take care of that. I see there's some glare in your glasses. Maybe before we continue recording, you could take your glasses off and we could eliminate that glare. Maybe we'll try that for a while. And we'll continue this recording in just a few minutes. Let's talk a little bit about the farming that you did. Did you ever have any horses?
Not to farm with, no.
Did your dad
We
have?
had a team.
And they were Dick and Lady, or what were they called? I don't
I
remember.
forget now.
I do remember there was a Dick, and I don't know what the other one was. I can so barely remember horses. I suppose I might have been about 3 years old when you maybe got rid of them even.
Yeah.
Did your dad farm with any horses?
Oh, yeah. We had about 12 horses there all the time.
And did he farm, how many horses would he have hooked up to like a plow at one time?
Oh, yeah, laid 4 to a gang plow.
And how many bottoms would they pull?
Two bottoms.
2 bottom plows. And so you'd maybe have a couple, 3 teams going on a field at one time, maybe.
Yeah, a couple of rigs, yeah. Gang plow and then a drill, that took about 4 horses too.
Sure.
Only 4 horses.
Did he have horses most of the time, or did he get into tractors?
Well, he bought a tractor in about 1912.
Uh-huh.
He bought a tractor in 1912, and that was a 2-plow tractor.
Uh-huh. What kind of a tractor was that then?
They call it a bull tractor.
Oh, that's one with the big one wheel on one side.
Just one driver, yeah.
Sure.
And one.
And then a small wheel on the other side,
Yeah.
and then a steering
wheel
up front. Mm-hmm. What is that, like about a 2-bottom plow or 3-bottom plow?
2-bottom plow.
Sure. Did he have some bigger tractors after that then?
Oh yeah, we had some bigger tractors. We had 4-plow tractor after that, but this was in about 1912 when he bought that little tractor.
Sure.
And we also had horses. We didn't depend much on the tractor at all.
Uh-huh.
We used it for harvesting on the binder.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
We didn't use that much for plowing or anything. But we used it for harvesting, because harvesting was hard on horses. It's hot weather in harvest.
Oh, sure.
So that's why it's real good for that.
And did you have your own thrashing machine, or did he usually hire that out?
That was hired out to start with.
Who did the thrashing?
John Feving.
John Fiving.
His brother, yeah.
Oh, I
He
see.
had a thrashing machine.
Did he live
Well,
nearby?
First, my dad had a machine. That's when they first come to this country. The
I see.
first year, they were all new settlers all around,
Sure.
and they only had a team apiece.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So 4 of those farmers had a team apiece, and they went and bought a horsepower thrash machine
I see. Uh-huh.
because Daddy had 8 horses then. See.
Sure.
So that's the way they thrashed for a year or 2, I guess. But then John Pavik, he come and he got a steam engine. So that
Oh, I see.
after that, then
When was that, like before the 1900s?
that-
Well, around the 1900s,
Yeah,
I would
around
guess.
that, yeah.
Sure, because you'd have been pretty young. You'd have been only 4 years old that you could
I
remember
remember
1900.
I remember it back to about 1902, you know.
Yeah, sure. Because you'd have been about 6
he
years
already
older.
had steam engine.
So, sure. John Fivig, whose children or what children did he have? Was that Oris?
Lund,
Or Lund Fivig, that
Lund
side?
Pevig and Alfred Pevig and Mrs. Wang
Sure, sure.
and those.
Okay, I understand the side then. Who were some of the other brothers that your dad had? There was John,
And Ole Pevig,
and what children did Ole have?
he had Willie and Elmer, and Mabel and Helma.
Okay, and who was another?
And George Pevig, he lived in Moorhead. He had Arthur, Leonard, and George,
Okay,
and Minnie.
so it was George Jr. that used to live out east here, or west here of the Tweeten Corner. That was his
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
Okay, fine. And was there some more brothers or sisters?
No, that's all it was.
So it was 4 of them,
For him now.
4 brothers. Okay, no sisters.
Three brothers and a sister,
Oh, who was the sister?
Minnie.
Minnie. Did she have some children?
No,
Oh, she was never married, maybe.
no.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. How about your mother? Let's talk a bit about your mother. And her name was?
Emma,
Okay.
and I forget.
Her middle name you
Yeah,
don't remember. Okay.
I remember Ingebrigtsen, or was it Buckton too? She was related to Buckton.
Yeah,
It seemed like it was Ingebrigtsen.
I see. You're not sure whether her maiden name was Ingebrigtsen or Buchan.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What year did she die? About. And that was before your dad died.
She was, oh yeah.
And that was in about 1938 that your dad
Yeah.
died, I
Yeah.
think. Gus.
She died maybe, 10 years before that, maybe.
Okay. Do you know if she had any sisters or brothers? Do you know about any uncles or aunts there?
Or my mother,
Yeah.
she had a sister,
Uh-huh.
and brother, I don't know. I didn't hear of any.
Okay.
But this was in Fillmore County. You know.
Fillmore County down in
Before
southeastern
they ever got
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay. What you say that she had a sister?
Yeah. That
Do you
was,
know what her name was?
Mrs. Burns.
Burns.
Jack Burns, I think his name was Jack.
But they never were up here.
No, they never lived here, but they used to come here.
Oh, I see. Were they farming down there in Fillmore County?
No, they lived in Winona.
They lived in Winona. Okay. Your mother, I don't remember. Did you say about when she died? Was that just a few years before your dad died, or was it several years?
It was maybe about 10, 12 years.
I see.
Something like
Okay, and
that.
so
I forget now.
sure, you'd have been in your 20s or early
Yeah.
30s when she died.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Okay. Was she active in anything? I know your dad was kind of active.
No, she didn't. Well, of course, Ladies' Aid.
Yeah, sure.
That's
She
all.
did a lot of cooking and all that stuff
Cooking and
at home.
all that.
Did she work any out in the fields at all?
Oh, no,
No.
never.
Sure. Well, she had a big family, so it would have been kind of hard. Her folks, where did they come from? They came from.
Fillmore County.
They lived in Fillmore County.
Yeah.
Okay. And then before that, of course, they came. Were they in Wisconsin before that?
Yeah, oh yeah. They come to Wisconsin when they come from Norway.
Now, was there something about them being a step brother and sister, or who in the family was not blood relationship, but step relationship?
Well, the Stonedals was, my dad's father was married twice, you know.
Yeah, right.
At
That
first-
was Lars.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
And the first marriage, was that the ones that became the Stundals and that side of it?
no, that was the second.
Oh, I see.
That's the younger. And my dad, on my dad's side, they're the
The youngest.
first family.
Well, the first family, the oldest family.
The oldest family.
I see.
And there was 4 boys and 2 girls there in that family. So,
Oh, I see. So, was it Lars that was married to kind of a stepsister or something like that, where they were raised together?
No, Gus, my dad.
Oh, your dad.
He was married to the daughter of my grandfather's second wife. See?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Okay. Yeah, so there was no blood relationship. It was just
She was a stepdaughter.
Okay, I knew it was something like that back there, but I didn't know exactly how it was. Let's see. I'm short on asking questions here today, so I have to take more breaks than ever in order to try to figure out what we're going to talk about. I will continue to ramble on here a little bit. I don't know. Let's. I started asking you about farming. You, of course, weren't using any horses hardly at all, except for in the first year or so that you moved down to this other farm, and then you got yourself what kind of a tractor?
On the first one?
Yeah.
That was the bull tractor.
Yeah, but you didn't have the bull tractor.
No,
You bought yourself.
Well, I had a Minneapolis for a while, an old one,
I see.
and a
What year did you
twin-
buy that WC?
WC, I bought that in 1939.
Okay, that was after you
That was
moved down
new.
to the farm.
That was brand new.
Sure. How many acres were you farming back then?
Oh, I don't know. We farmed maybe 200 acres or so
You did.
out of the old. No,
Yeah.
maybe not that much. But
You had an 80 acre of your own, and then
Yeah.
you rented from Harry and
Harry,
Charlie.
and Charlie.
And what did they have? 80 acres each?
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, that wasn't all in
No,
farmland.
some of that was wooden.
Woods and stuff.
Sure.
So maybe it would be about 150, 200 acres,
Yeah.
with my own 80.
And you were mostly raising oats and.
Yeah, oats and barley and wheat.
Sure.
That's about the size of it.
Uh-huh.
And a little cornfield, of course, that was more for feed.
Sure.
And maybe a little potatoes once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had quite a bit of potatoes for a while there. That was when they raised a lot of potatoes around there.
Sure.
And a couple of potato houses in town there,
Uh-huh.
that bought the potatoes.
So I suppose several farmers would do that.
They raised a lot of potatoes
yeah.
around there at that time.
Uh-huh.
But that kind of petered out, so
Sure.
they don't do that anymore.
Then, well, let's see. Let's go back, way back to when you were in the service. Might as well talk a little more about that. Is there anything that you can tell about that?
Well, in 1917, my brother Adolf, he had a homestead in Montana, and he happened to, he had been there since about 1914, or
Sure.
somewhere in there when they first got the homestead.
Mm-hmm.
But then in 1917, him and another fellow, they rented a school section, land that wasn't no farmed. It wasn't farmed, them days. There wasn't even a school district, schoolhouses built yet.
Sure.
So they rented out the school sections. There was I think it was four school sections in a township that was
Uh-huh.
given to the school in case they was going to build a school. So,
What area in Montana was that?
Havre, Montana,
Okay.
about 30 miles west of Havre.
Sure.
And so he was up here after 1916 was a good crop in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
They had a real good crop there. And so next year they rented this school section, him and another neighbor, and paid 10 cents an acre for it, for rent.
I see.
And so Adolf, he had a tractor with 8 plows. He had already shipped out there. And then another fellow, his neighbor, they bought another tractor, so they had 2 tractors, the same thing. And that had 6 plows. So they had going to run two rigs that spring,
Sure.
That's why I went out. Me and another fellow, neighbor over here, went.
Who was the neighbor that went out with you?
Benny Hendrickson.
Okay.
And we was going to work for him then, see, 1917,
Sure.
to put in this year, and that's what we did.
Uh-huh.
So we went there early in the spring and got to Havre, or Joplin, Montana was the name of the town they were in.
Oh, yeah.
And it must have been in April or so we went there. And we had to fix some on the tractor too. And so we had some work to do before we could start plowing for flax.
Uh-huh.
That section of land,
Sure.
That's 640 acres. They got that for 10 cents an acre.
Huh.
Rent.
Sure.
And so they hired a man with 4 horses and a drill to seed it.
Uh-huh.
And he was seeding just about as fast as we could plow with 2 big outfits.
Uh-huh.
And when we got all seeded, it didn't rain all spring. It was dry all spring. We didn't have any vacation or any kind. We just could seed it in. And that's what we did. And we finally got seeded and no rain. And finally we went on a fishing trip for the fun of it. As long as it wasn't raining or anything, we didn't have nothing to do. And so we went on a fishing trip up in the mountains around Havre, Montana.
I see.
Up in the Bear Paw Mountains, they call them.
Oh, yeah.
And we stayed there for about a week. Had a tent, a couple of tents with us, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a couple of cars of us.
Was Adolf married then?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, okay.
and Elton was the baby.
Oh, he was a baby then. Sure.
So then we come back from the fishing trip, but no fish either much. We got some fish, but trout fishing, in the streams.
Sure.
And still waiting for rain. And it didn't rain all summer till in August.
I see.
Then in August there come a shower, come a big soaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flax started to grow, But this was in August, so it never had any crop out of it.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, we thrashed a little, some that happened to have some wheat on summer fallow.
Sure.
There was some grain there, but very little. So it didn't have much to thrash either. So then Adolf and I, we went to Great Falls that fall. And we got a job in the smelter
Oh, is that right?
in Great Falls. So we worked there for a while.
And Ruth stayed out at the farm?
No, we stayed in Great
Oh,
Falls.
I see. So they all moved in.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Ruth and Elton. Yeah.
So it got to be about Christmas time, and I thought, well, heck, I registered for the draft that summer too.
I see. The war had started.
War started that that fall.
Sure.
17.
Mm-hmm.
So we registered for the draft, and of course then when it got to be Christmas time, I thought, heck, I can just about go back to Minnesota because I'll be drafted anyway, so I can just about go up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back there, and I never went back to Montana again either.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So anyway, you.
But I filed on the homestead
out there.
too.
Out there.
But being it was so dry, I thought that the heck with it. I'm not coming back here anyway.
Yeah, that was out in Montana. You filed for homestead.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you might have ended up there, and we'd have been from Montana instead of Minnesota here then.
Yeah.
Okay, then you were drafted, and you went to basic training.
In Camp Wadsworth, South Carolina.
Okay. And then, how long was basic training about?
Oh, that was about 4 weeks, I suppose, 4 or 5, or
Sure.
yeah, not much
Sure.
more than that.
And then what did you do after basic training?
We went directly to Newport News,
Okay.
and we got our overseas equipment, and we got on the boat to Newport News.
Boy, that was not very long getting in and getting over.
It was 6 weeks from the time we left Moorhead till we was up at the front.
Is that right? 6 weeks.
But
6
we were
weeks, that's not
engineers.
long.
We were engineers.
Yeah. Okay, what did you do exactly as an engineer?
Well, we was maintaining roads,
But were you driving something, or what were you
No,
doing?
we were fixing bridges and shell holes that's flowed out during the day, So we worked nights.
Yeah, sure.
Every night we went out to do something.
I see.
Maybe put
Sure.
some planks in a bridge or something.
And they didn't do any fighting at night to amount to anything?
No, it wasn't any at night.
They called it off at
They were
sunset.
shooting.
Yeah, I suppose.
The artillery was working.
Yeah, I suppose.
They were right behind us, They shot over us.
Yeah, sure.
And so they were shooting, but once in a while we heard some machine guns, some heavy machine guns.
Sure. Do you remember any airplanes much back then?
There was a few, but mostly small planes.
They were more
Observation
reconnaissance,
planes.
observation type planes, yeah.
Well, they used to shoot down the balloons,
Sure.
See, each artillery piece had a balloon.
Yeah.
hanging up there with a couple
Sure.
of men in the balloon,
Yeah.
and they had a phone down to the gun, see,
Oh yeah.
so that they could.
Sure.
And once in a
Sure.
while,
And a phone line
yeah,
Yeah.
phone line, see.
hanging down.
And once in a while, there'd be a ship coming over, circling around there, trying to get over that balloon and
I
shoot
suppose.
that down.
Sure. I suppose.
But then they went after it with anti-aircraft, They,
Yeah, sure.
They were shooting at that plane, but
Sure.
very seldom they got him. Not very often.
No, I don't suppose.
But
No radar,
then
no
pretty
nothing.
soon it would come around and then duck down on that balloon, and pretty soon the balloon went up in fire.
Huh.
And they had already jumped out with the
They used parachutes?
parachutes.
Oh, they did. Okay.
They
I
went out
see.
to the parachute.
Yeah, I
They
see.
could see the men coming down
Yeah, sure.
ahead of the plane, but they could see that the plane was going to hit them,
Yeah.
They jumped.
Well, you say you walked from France to Germany?
Yeah, that's after the war was declared, The armistice was signed.
Sure. And what were you doing in Germany then?
Well, we army of occupation, we occupied everything.
And you were at Koblenz
Koblenz, yeah.
mainly?
Well, it's outside on the Rhine River.
Yeah, okay. I know we went down the Rhine River and we went past that area that you were
We took over the Rhine.
working on what, disabling some ammunitions depots
Yeah,
or something?
we was destroying German ammunition.
Yeah, sure.
We shot it up.
Before you got home, you were hospitalized. What was that for?
I had the flu.
I see.
The Spanish flu they had done this.
I see. You had another roommate there.
Well, I was hospitalized with the mumps
Mumps. Oh yes.
too,
Uh-huh.
but that was afterwards again.
Sure. Wasn't there a Negro that was...
Yeah, it was. We was in the mumps ward, three of us.
Uh-huh.
A fellow from Moorhead and a Negro and myself.
Oh yeah.
We was together there for 20 days,
Sure.
quarantine.
I see. Yeah. Okay, and then you got back here. Did you come back with a Montana unit, or
No.
You came back with some unit from this area?
No, just a casualty outfit.
Oh, I see.
They were all out of the hospitals when those I come back with.
I see.
They didn't come back as a unit,
Sure.
So they were casualties.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. And do you know what month of the year that would have been? And what is that? 1918?
1919.
1919.
We left Saint Nazaire the 3rd of July. Got on the boat the 3rd of July, so we spent 4th of July on the boat, and we got to New York the 16th of July.
Oh, is that right?
And then from there to Camp Dodge Highway, and we were discharged at Camp Dodge Highway
Sure.
in 1919.
Okay, then you got back, and what did you do right after you got back out of the service?
Adolf had come back from Montana,
Uh-huh.
and he had shipped a tractor back, and then, but we didn't have no separator, so I went, he told me if I could get a hold of a separator, we'd thrash together that fall. So I went and we got a hold of an old separator, and used his tractor then, so we thrashed
Sure.
around Hewlin here.
Oh, yes. When did you get interested in ham radio or monkey with radio sets? Was that when you were real young or what?
That was when Archie Waller was going to college or to high school.
High school.
He started. Him and a fellow from Ada.
Sure. Was that like in the 20s or was that in the early 30s, I suppose?
Yeah, it was in the 20s.
I see.
It would be in the later 20s,
Uh-huh.
I suppose.
And
Archie was in high school.
did Archie have a ham license when he first started monkeying around with?
Not to start with, but there was a fellow in Ada that helped him along with that. And he was a ham operator. He was the son of a dentist or something in Ada.
I see. I remember he went up to Red Lake Falls to take his test.
Yeah.
From W9 LBR.
LBR, yeah.
Yeah.
I was with him one time up there too.
Sure. You had a call letter too.
Oh yeah.
But that was a call letter that you got out of a handbook that had never been used.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. I know you had told a story about.
I got the call down the basement. The letter.
A citizens band.
No, that was the other.
Did you have a ham license? Oh yeah, you had the WN0TRN.
Yeah.
True, that was many years later, but this was back in the 20s or that.
Yeah,
you had W9PQJ.
That must have been about 20s there.
Yeah, W9PQJ, but that wasn't even a.
That's a fake.
That was a fake. And it's safe now to talk about it because there is no problem.
Archie, he was a fake too for a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
What do you know? What his call letters were then?
I don't remember what it was.
But I'm sure there were several that when they got on at first, they just faked it and used a call letter that never was in a call book or anything.
I know one time I was been talking to Archie, I think, and then some guy someplace out east here called me, you know, on these fake numbers.
Yeah. But usually you weren't talking to anybody. You weren't.
No, not any.
You were usually talking to Archie.
Archie. Yeah.
Was Oli ever on? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he had a regenerated set, you know, so we could talk between me and Oli.
Sure.
But that's all we did.
And you were using regenerative sets mainly. Okay.
That's all I got left, and it'd be enough.
Well, I stopped it for a few minutes there because it was a little bit noisy around here, but we were talking about ham radio and all that. You had another call, I know, WN0TRN back in about the 60s or whatever. No, about the 50s.
Yeah,
a novice call letter. Did you have any motorcycles or anything like that when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. I had quite a few.
Oh, did you?
Old ones, you know.
Sure.
The first one with Charlie and I, we sent for
maybe
a used one.
I see.
To a company in Minneapolis.
Maybe
Sure.
And
well, I'm gonna
I
want
think
all
I
that
paid
junk there.
$42.
And
or
this
something.
year.
Sure.
And then you can.
So it comes
Should
shipped by
we
freight
found
to Europe.
the big curtains and then
Yeah.
But in order to get that, we had to take a
and get him hung up.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
team in a
But
wagon and
Sure.
I'll wash
go in
this
and
first.
pick up the
This
freight.
year we got a drawer. or what?
Well,
Put it
maybe-
back in the crate.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll quit this recording for now. It's getting to be a little noisy and it'd be kind of hard to do much more talking, so we'll maybe do it some other time.
And that can be easy.
How are your knees? Or do they bother you a lot?
Are you
No,
on the
no.
break?
Yeah, they bother because I can't walk.
Yeah. But otherwise,
Otherwise, I can.
it doesn't hurt you while you're just sitting.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess that'll be it for now, and we'll continue this some other time.
Yeah.